What is going on, everybody? I tried a formula to make myself not bald anymore, and spoiler alert, it did not work. But I am here to do Mattalk. I just wanted to bring more, I don't know, sexiness to the show, and my hair just wouldn't grow. I tried.
Okay. Can I ask in a very serious question? When did you make the decision to just shave? Because you have admitted on this program that you just shave it because you had follicle issues. So when did you make that decision?
To finally just let it go.
Yeah.
That would have been. That's a good question, man. Probably in my 30s when I was
Okay.
finally like, this is not for me. Hair is just not my thing anymore. The man upstairs said you just don't get to have hair, and well, I don't have hair.
Well, that's rude of your upstairs neighbor to do that to you. That's what a terrible comment.
But how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be back because we haven't done this in a little bit. And so I was very excited to sit down and chat with you about this great episode of Matlock. And yeah, just can't wait. We're very happy to be back. As we mentioned at the last episode, that we will be going back to our format of the second and fourth Sundays of every month. And here it is. It's the second Sunday. The eighth. The first? No, it's not the first.
It is the second.
It is the second. Yeah, because last week was the first, which was Labor Day weekend. So, but I understand we already have a comment already.
Yeah, man, we're popular. People love us. What is up, Corey? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Corey, what's happening, man?
We need to get him on here to talk Matlock with us. That'd be fun.
He'll watch Matlock. I guarantee we could
Corey,
rope him into watching an episode and then talking about it.
Yeah, he definitely will. He's a team player, man. But Only Murders in the Building is back, and I don't know how you're not watching this show, John, because it is literally the best show on television. It has been for the last 4 years, and it just got renewed for season 5. Listen, folks, Meryl Streep is on this show. Like, she doesn't just do TV to do TV. But this year, Hollywood wants to make a movie based on their podcasts. So who did they cast to play the 3 leads in the movie version? Eugene Levy, Eva Longoria, and Zach Galifianakis playing Martin Short. And the few interactions that Martin Short and Zach Galifianakis have had on this show have been comical. This show is so funny. It only gets better with every season. And I cannot wait. It's so good. I love it. I cannot wait till Tuesday when I get to see another episode.
All right. Well, since we're talking about what we're watching, I want to say that I started. Oh, let's do it, says Corey. All right. We'll have our people get in touch with your people, you know?
That's right.
I have started rewatching one of my favorite TV shows, and I can't believe that I waited this long to do a rewatch, but I'm now watching Homicide: Life on the Street, which is on Peacock. Jason, have you started diving into that yet?
I'm on episode 4, and let me guess, you're watching it on Peacock, not through your discs.
You are correct. I'm watching it on Peacock and not on my disc. But I do have the complete run on DVD because, again, hashtag physical media rules. But it's a little bit easier to watch it on the Peacock. So you started watching. You're on episode 4. Okay. What have you liked about it so far? What's your thoughts on Homicide?
It's very, 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 very similar to NYPD Blue, which is a positive for me. It's a positive for me. I don't know which one came first. I'm going to assume Homicide did because, I mean, just judging by how the show looks, it looks a little older. And, I love Law and Order, so John Munch has been fun to kind of see where he came from. But I'll let you know as I keep going. I like that each episode kind of flows into the next, which is another thing that NYPD Blue did.
Actually, I just looked it up. NYPD Blue started in '93, the same year as Homicide.
Nice.
So, I have thoroughly enjoyed my rewatch. I am on episode 5. It's very good. It's very visceral. I liked, just the way in which the characters interact with one another. Anyways, I enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. Do you have a favorite character yet, Jason?
Probably Munch.
Really, Munch? I'm Pemberton, man. He's Frank Pemberton is just the man. Just the way he is so complicated, and he and Bayless are a great duo. Absolutely fantastic duo. So if you're not watching it, folks, and you love cop shows, you gotta check it out. Homicide: Life on the Street. It's on Peacock. I think it's on the free version of Peacock too. I have the pay version, but I think it's still on the free version. So check it out. You have no excuse. It's fantastic. Andre Brower, Ned Beatty, Richard Belzer, Yafet Koto. There's some heavy hitters on the show. Daniel Baldwin. I don't know. He's a Baldwin brother that wasn't a big heavy hitter, right? I mean, we can.
He's pretty good on the show. He looks a lot like Alec Baldwin.
Oh yeah, he does.
He's like Diet Alec.
Yes, he is. Oh yeah, he's great on the show. But I think that this is, if you're asking me, this is the pinnacle of his success, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I watched Beetlejuice. I'm gonna get really into it tomorrow with Justin, but as far as the movie goes, it was fun. I laughed quite a bit. It was nice seeing Michael Keaton back as Beetlejuice. Suffers a little bit from Ghostbusters Frozen Empire syndrome in the sense that there are characters within the movie that absolutely had nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Like they're just there and their story doesn't go anywhere. But it was still fun. It was like watching a live action version. And same thing with Ghostbusters. I gave it the exact same review as far as it was like watching an episode of the animated cartoon.
Okay.
So yeah, they're very reminiscent to the Beetlejuice, and everybody does so well. But the standouts in Beetlejuice is Catherine O'Hara and Michael Keaton. They are phenomenal.
Well, for me, the final thing that I've also been watching is I bought it for 50 cents at a garage sale this past summer. I've been making my way through season 1 and 2 of Mr. Show. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that show. If you're not, I meant Jason's shaking his head. I didn't mean you. I meant the audience. But nonetheless, if you are not familiar with the show, it's like a comedy sketch show featuring Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, and then a handful of other individuals. But those are the main two. I think it kind of is for me like Saturday Night Live has been for me for most of my life. Is there's some really good stuff, they're really good funny skits, and then there's some that just fall flat for me, and I'm like, that wasn't really funny, that was more stupid or annoying. But I'm making my way through Mr. Show. I think there's only 4 seasons if I remember correctly, so working on season 1.
I think that's all right. But they dropped a new full-length trailer for Matlock, the new Matlock. First off, everybody, I love getting DMs from you guys. It's fantastic. I just want to say on here that this new Matlock reboot, it's not a reboot. It has nothing to do with the original show. She references it in the trailer that she is a lawyer like the old show, referencing the old Matlock show. So the show exists within this show. It's not a reboot by any stretch of the imagination. And God help me, but the new trailer looked really good. And Kathy Bates announced that this is her last role, that whenever this show is done, she's retiring from acting.
Oh, okay. That's a big announcement.
Yeah, wow. That's a shame because she's a good actress. I'm hoping it's good because it's got Kathy Bates and Jason Ritter, and I really like Jason Ritter. He is a spitting image of his father.
By the way, thank you, Justin, for pointing out that I'm still on the Don Knotts box set. So, that was Jason. That was not me. My bad.
Yeah, I haven't started watching it yet. The Don Knotts set that I had.
All right. Well, you know what? Now that we've covered everything that we're watching, TV-wise, movie-wise, and whatnot, shall we go ahead and jump on into things and start talking about this episode of Matlock?
I mean, that's only half a day of what I've been watching. If we went through what I watched in a week, this show would be 12 hours long. Yeah, John, let's get into it, my friend.
All right, let's get into our opening statement. The name of this episode is called The Formula, and the original air date is February 12th, 1991. Real close to Valentine's Day in 1991. But I have to say that there's a very peculiar situation with this episode. There are not a lot of very experienced actors when you look up guest stars. A lot of them had one or two or three things that they were known for, and that was about it. And that was really, and I mean, I'm being a little bit exaggerating there, but there was many of these individuals that had only a handful of acting roles, so it was real hard to find anything about one of our guest stars. But we do have two that have more than just a few roles. So let's start with Christian Clemenson, who will be playing the role of Dr. Tim Kreider. You may also know him as Walter in the movie Fly Me to the Moon, James Beard in Julia, Dr. Victor Fields in Malignant, Martin DeYoung on Turn, Washington Spies, Dan Bennett in Colony, Sam Berman on Harry's Law, Dr. Tom Lohman on CSI Miami, Jerry Epstein on Boston Legal, and about 80 more credits to his name. So, what do you know about Christian Clemenson? First of all, I want to throw it out there. I really want to see that movie, Fly Me to the Moon. I don't think it did very well in the box office. I think it came and went, but I really want to look forward. I'm looking forward to seeing that movie. I think that looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm down to see that movie as well. Yeah, I liked him on Boston Legal. I didn't recognize that it was him when we were watching Matlock. I didn't see it until like 5 minutes ago when I IMDb'd the names, and yeah, no idea it was the same guy. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and then our second guest star is James Karen as the character Ed Billings. You may know him as Patrick Kirtland on Ned and Stacy, Martin Fromm in The Pursuit of Happiness, Wally Brown in Mulholland Drive, Judge Knapp in The Practice, the governor in the movie Piranha, Mylan Whitfield in Revenge of the Nerds 4, and about 50 or 60 other credits to his name. So I know you had to have recognized him from your love of Revenge of the Nerds.
You know what's funny? I didn't recognize him either. I'm about to Google his name. What was his name? Marlon what on Revenge of the Nerds? Whitfield?
Whitfield. Mylan. Mylan. Whitfield. In Revenge of the Nerds 4, Nerds in Love.
I've seen it. I have it on VHS and DVD.
Is it a favorite of yours, or is it where things started to jump the shark?
Things started to jump the shark after 2. I think Revenge of the Nerds 2 is an underrated sequel, but yeah, definitely. I don't recognize him from the show, but yeah, definitely jumped the shark. It was one that they did it in Smell-O-Vision. Do you remember that in the 90s where they did Married with Children? They did Revenge of the Nerds 4. I can't remember what the other thing was, but you get the subway and you got these scratch and sniff cards. And then the TV would flash when you're supposed to smell the cards, and it came with 3D glasses.
I vaguely remember that. I never did it, but I vaguely remember commercials for it.
Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds 3 is mildly watchable. Revenge of the Nerds 4 is almost unwatchable.
Oh,
but
really?
Dude, every time I sit down and watch Nerds, I go through all 4 of them, and then I put it away for a while.
Well, here's a little interesting side note. This episode has 6 different redheads in it. Tim Kreider, Dr. Doris Massler, Mr. Billings' housekeeper, Mrs. Kreider's 2 friends, and the jury foreman. So interestingly enough, statistically, people have a 1 to 2% chance of having red hair in the United States. So for 6 out of the 15 characters to be redheads would be incredibly rare. I thought that was interesting little side note there that I found on the internet. And you said prior to recording that you were going to bring up the fact that maybe gingers are evil. Do you stand by those words?
I wasn't going to bring that up on the air, John. I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't going to say that in public. The thoughts and views of John Orlando are strictly those of John Orlando and do not express Mattalk. I do like how you use the term rare to identify it because rare steaks are red.
What? Wait a minute. So you're throwing me under the bus. for mentioning something that we talked in private, and now that's what you follow up with?
Yeah, it is. It's exactly what I followed up with. No, I did say I
First,
said I said redheads are evil. I didn't. Did I say gingers? I might have. No offense to anybody.
first of all, number one, they're evil in this show. Okay, that's it. In the confines of Matlock, they're evil. All right, because we need some heavy bad guys, and certainly Dr. Massler is one. So there you go. We also maybe should throw in there too that there's a ponytailed blonde douchebag in this episode as well. So
Oh, dude, I love that guy. He's on our thumbnail. I was going through pictures of the episode, and I showed my girlfriend. I'm like, it's got to be this one, right? And she's like, yeah, it can't be any other. It can't be any other photo.
All right. Well, let's get to the plot here. The plot is that a con man swipes the miracle hair restorer, which would lead to his murder. So let's start with the opening scene. It's afternoon rush hour in the ATL.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah, that dude is incredibly like douchey. I'm sorry to say it. I mean, he is. I mean, since we're calling people out for various different reasons, I'm calling him out for looking douchey with his ponytail and blonde hair and weird accent. Anyways, more with the opening scene that we go inside the Billings and Massler's lab where there are three people arguing. And the next day, Jerry confronts Tim about what's going on in the company. And this is the one scene that I didn't realize till the second viewing, that there is an incredibly large height differential between the actor playing Jerry and Christian Clemenson, who plays Dr. Kreider. Like, and then it clicks because that's going to come back to haunt us in the end of the episode. But I was like, my God, this Jerry guy is short. Anyways, Jerry wants to know what's going on with the company, and Tim's like, he doesn't know. And then we cut to a scene where Jeff stops by to have lunch with Tim, but they're going to have to maybe reschedule that lunch because Tim is talking to Ed Billings, and soon enough that meeting breaks up, and then Tim tells Jeff, that Ed Billings fired him, and then they decide to go to lunch anyways. So, All right. Basically, the lab has made a hair restoration system that was a hit. And Tim created it, and now he got fired to save money, more or less, which right there, I think that's illegal right out of the get-go. You can't, has to be a contract, and in fact, we know there is one, that's got to make things a little more ironclad, wouldn't you think?
You would think, but I mean, for that time period, maybe not. Because contracts were even more shady back then than they are now.
Maybe. That's a possibility. So basically, Tim feels like he's going to be screwed out of money. So Tim can't sell the formula because apparently it belongs to the lab. And so Jeff does what any good friend would do. He says, hey, man, I'll break into the labs. I'll steal your notes. I'll take some samples. What do you say? Which I did notice in the second viewing of this, that Tim took a little bit of while to answer that, because in my mind, I wrote down he was quick to accept, but I think I was maybe not paying attention on that, because he did take his time to decide whether he was going to say, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So Jeff breaks in. Wait a minute. Our producer Justin just sent us a note. Oh, we did forget to testify, did we not? Oh,
we are testifying right now. Testify!
Testify! Okay, I can confess. I totally forgot that we were going to testify because I was all wrapped up in backpedaling after making the redheaded comment. So I'm just going to admit to that. That was my bad, Jason. Not yours. Not yours, Justin. It was my bad. I was so hoping that we weren't going to get canceled because of our unkind words.
Yeah, to cancel John, email us at benmattalk@gmail.com.
Well, please don't cancel me. I don't want canceled. It was a joke, people. It was a joke between two friends, Anyways. So what happens when you're lying, folks. Anyways, so Jeff breaks in. He hears somebody coming. So he trips over some boxes and he destroys the samples. But he manages to escape, and the cop, even though the cop is chasing him, and the cop stops and starts yelling, stop, stop, stop. Has that ever worked in a TV or movie?
No.
No. Stop, stop, stop. No.
Okay, I got to ask this because I asked my girlfriend this as we were watching the episode, and she had the same thought I did. Cops are supposed to be in shape, right? I know he's not I know he's not a cop, but cops are supposed to be in shape, but they usually aren't.
Listen, I'll just tell you this right now. Growing up in the small town that I grew up in Eastern Ohio, I often said that about the same thing because our cops we had the chief of police was very large, and one of the deputies was large too, and I'm like, yeah, I think I could outrun these two fatzos. Not that I was committing crime out there, but I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Now the other two, they were kind of in shape in that, but anyways.
I just surprising. Anyway,
no,
yeah.
No. And yes, Justin, we are breaking all the rules tonight.
It's a Sunday. We're getting crazy.
That's right. Anyways, Jeff then meets Tim in a parking garage and hands off the notes and hands off just hands off the notes, but he does say, hey, unfortunately the samples got destroyed. He also does say, hey, I think that the cop may have seen me, may have recognized me. And what do you know? Jeff is arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's time for dose number 1 of Angry Ben.
Oh, my God. I love Angry Ben in this episode. Oh, my God. Both times. It didn't get old. I might watch it a third time, even though we've already done this episode, because he is so angry. And I love, oh, my God, I love that he goes to the courtroom still in his pajamas, but he's got his suit pants on and his suit shirt on, or jacket on over his pajama shirt. And it is fantastic. It's everything I ever wanted. And the second scene is even better. We'll get to that when we get to it. But I loved seeing him in his pajama shirt with his suit coat.
Well, the phone wakes him up at 3:00 in the morning. And here's 2 things I want to know. 1, why did he struggle so much to reach next to the bed to answer the phone? Like, I get it, it's the middle of the night, but it seemed like there was a lot of crap over on your end table. Maybe you should clean that off so you could you have a lamp and the phone, you can easily grab the phone.
Listen, John, my end table next to my bed is a cluster of like everything. So
okay. So it's me and my OCD then, is what you're saying.
Dude, I speak of too much stuff. Do you look forward to? You probably don't. Do you take a lot of medicine?
No, I don't. I take
I was gonna say, man, things. I love my Saturdays where I get to refill my pill bottle, my daily pill bottle. I get to sort them all out and put them into the daily things. It really makes me feel like I'm in my 70s, even though I'm in my 40s.
It gives you some joy to do that, doesn't it?
We talk about it at work all the time because one of the ladies I work with, she does the same thing, and that's our conversation. She's like, "Did you take your Mondays?" And I'm like, "No, I'm about to." It's getting older, man. Getting older. I remember watching my grandfather do that, and I do it now too.
Okay, my other question about these scenes with Ben being woken up in bed. I wonder how many takes it took. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious, like, Ben probably, or I should say Andy Griffith probably in his mind had a particular way in which Ben has to wake up. And I just wonder how many takes it would have happened. You think 1 take?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2 or 3 at least. All right. Well, Jeff has been arrested. And so Ben goes down to hear Jerry's version. They kind of have a little bit of a slight argument. I like that Ben's like, "Don't shake me." Like, that was hilarious. Tim, excuse me, I'm sorry. He's angry Ben once again. And then we cut to a scene where Tim is heading out from his house. He's going to work. I put down nice umbrella because it was a very, very awkward looking umbrella. Ben shows up And he's like, hey, just need to talk to you about what happened at the lab. And Tim plays completely dumb. He's like, what? I've not been fired. What? My notes should be locked up in the lab. Jeff is flaky. He worked for us, but he was kind of a flake. All right. All the stuff that, quite frankly, is the opposite of what actually happened. We go to a scene in the courtroom where Ben and Jeff talk about Tim's report of what happened. And Tim gives updates to Massler and Billings. Jeff shows up at the lab and he starts ranting and ranting and raving, and security boots Jeff, and that ends that little scene. So, all right, so we already have kind of the layers being built for Jeff. What do you think about Jeff so far?
Jeff's a maniac, but not in a bad way. I like that he went to there and confronted them, because it's really hard for that doctor to backtalk that, because he's right. How did he get in? How did he get the codes? How did he do this? How did he do that?
Right. So then we go to a scene that's at Tim's house. His wife arrives home, his wife arrives home and finds him dead. All right. So there's another phone call for Ben to answer, and he is equally as grouchy until he finds out that Jeff was arrested for murder.
I would say he's more grouchy.
Really? I see. I take it the other way. I think that he kind of like, huh?
But this time, oh my God, this is amazing. He goes to the courtroom, to the jail, and he's got his suit pants on. He's got his suit jacket on, but he's got his robe on underneath. So the bottom of the robe is sticking out of the bottom of his suit jacket. I loved it. I loved every second of it, both times.
Not to mention, he tries to catch a couple Z's on the prison cot.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so Angry Ben basically says, listen, I'll take your case, Jeff, but you can't call me anymore at 3:00 in the morning. I want you to go home. I want you to mind your business, help your mama out around the house, do whatever, but stay out of trouble. So we cut to a scene where Lieutenant Brooks is at the crime scene, which this I knew was coming for ever since the episode started. I knew we were going to get this scene. I just knew it. So Ben arrives, and so basically we find out that Tim bowls. He's in a bowling league every Wednesday. And so Ben challenges Lieutenant Bob Brooks to use the hair serum. Bob says, nah. But Ben throws down 50 on that. And surprisingly. And so, but still Bob says, nah. And then Ben leaves, and Bob swipes a bottle of evidence.
I was going to say, he just takes it.
Yeah. Like, no, that's got to be a felony, even for the police to do that.
Oh, definitely for the police to do that. Like, if he was collecting it for evidence to take to the courtroom, but he swipes a bottle.
He swipes a bottle for his own use. No, you cannot do that.
Oh, I love this episode.
All right, so Ben interviews Tim's wife, and Tim has a notebook, but it's missing. And then we cut to a scene where Ben chats with Mr. Billings, and there's a blonde man. Shall we call him Dollar Tree's Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Sure.
All right. And he's in a black suit. He's seen leaving the house through the back door. And so we know that there's got to be a connection between Billings and Dollar Tree Jean-Claude Van Damme. So while Ben is interviewing Mr. Billings, Billings gets real snippy with him right off the bat and was like, oh, you can stop by and see Tim's contract, in which Ben was like, okay. And then Ben was like, when can I do that? 3:00. Okay. Yeah, that kind of, at that point, I was like, Billings maybe has something involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle interviews Dr. Massler. Billings and Massler kept having money issues. And so Michelle asked about that. And again, Dr. Massler has an excuse for that. We then have a scene where Ben interviews Jerry Hughes, who's a bowling pal, and he's also head of PR for the company. And he says that Ed was planning to go public with the stock when the product launches And that means everyone's going to get rich, real rich. All right. What do you think so far, Jason, about this episode? Any other notes or anything that you want to bring up real quick?
No, I can't wait to get to the payoff for him swiping the evidence.
All right. I wrote this down. There's an exterior shot which I think is of it's a hotel that they've used multiple times in multiple episodes over these 5 seasons. So just noticed that and just was throwing it out there. But at that hotel, Conrad follows Ed, and Ed Billings leaves a briefcase at the bar, and Dollar Tree Jean-Claude Van Damme takes it. Conrad follows him, but the dude goes on the elevator, and due to a baggage handler and some other snafus, Conrad doesn't get to the elevator in time.
Well, he's more of a Dollar Tree Dolph Lundgren, or the Dolph Lundgren and like Steven Seagal's child.
We'll call him Dollar Tree Dolph. I like that. That's got a better ring to it. Dollar Tree
Dolph.
But
he's got Seagal's ponytail.
Yes, he does. So Conrad ends up at Ben's house saying they found out about this dude. His name is Julian. I don't remember the last name. I didn't write it down. I don't know. He something foreign. Mm-hmm. Angry Ben yet again. This time he's angry about a drill bit. And he mouths off about it, and it was a gift that Conrad gave him for Christmas. So,
yeah, I mean, give it a better gift to your technically boss.
Yes, you know what I mean? Absolutely.
It's like staying in there, just worst drill ever.
Yeah, which my thing was, okay. Like, I think it's more user error on behalf of Ben, because it looked like he had bent it. So to me, it was like, yeah, that's not really like that's on you, man. That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, real quickly, I just want everybody to know I'm looking it up right now, and there's not Dr. Julian Ingersoll. That's who Julian's last name is, Dr. Ingersoll. So
nice.
Anyways, so we go to the scene where Conrad is undercover as a bellhop. He kind of lets himself into Julian's room, and I put in parentheses, he's going to get beat up, but alas, he doesn't. But I really was like, Dollar Tree Dolph is going to lay the smackdown on him, but nope, doesn't. Because Julian is there. He's apparently out of the shower with a towel around him. And Conrad's like, oh, I'm just here for your room service trays. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I knocked, man. You just didn't hear me.
Yeah, knock louder.
I don't know. He didn't put the do not disturb sign on the door. So good recovery on that for Conrad.
And also, too, keep in mind, he used his lock picking tools to unlock the door, too. So yeah. Anyways, Conrad fills in Ben with what he has on Julian, and then the shelf falls, which, by the way, that was the cleanest fall for like you put up a shelf like that, and if it's falling, it's pulling part of the plaster and part of the drywall and the wallpaper all down. So
not if Ben used double-sided Scotch tape,
which is probably what he used. This episode brought to you in part by 3M. So Michelle's back at the lab, and she is presenting Massler with this bill saying, hey, you're picking up Julian's tab. You're paying for his hotel and everything. And I think she was going to try to get her to admit that she was having a fling with Julian, but that never comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
So Ed leaves home. There's a scene where Ed Billings leaves home, and Ben follows him. And then there's a meeting between Julian, Messler, and Billings, and all of a sudden Ben somehow manages to get into this, which I wanted a question mark. Like, how did he get in? And then I saw that Conrad was in tow, and I'm like, well, you have master picklocker extraordinaire right there. Mm-hmm. So, and of course Michelle joins as well.
It was nice seeing her in this episode.
Well, here's where this gets a little convoluted for me. So basically, they admit that the notebook is null and void. Like the formula doesn't really work. Like it works initially, like you'll get hair after using it for like a couple of weeks, but then your hair falls out. All the new hair falls out. So Tim was trying to fix the formula before the company went public, because obviously this would be a big, oh, you don't have the product ready. Well, we're not investing, or we're investing and this crappy product doesn't work. We're going to sue. So the game plan was to fix Tim's formula, and that's why they brought in Dr. Ingersoll to help him with it.
They staged the whole thing so they could say it was stolen, so we need a little bit more time to make more, essentially. But in secret, basically, they were going to just work on it, fix it.
Right. So the three of them said, look, none of us killed Tim. We didn't kill him.
Yeah, his notebook's not worth anything.
Yeah, because it's absolutely worthless. But Ben has a smile, which he's called out on. Why are you smiling that way? And Ben has an idea. So Ben meets with Tim's wife, and the bowling jacket becomes a clue because Tim is 6'2", so he takes a larger sized jacket.
Yeah.
So then we go back to the courtroom. Jerry Hughes is on the stand, and again, he's been given raises, but he hasn't been given money, cash money. He's been given stock options. So he has about 5,000 of these stocks at his disposal. So if the IP blows up, or the IPO, blows up, Jerry is set to make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jerry, who is a small, petite man, wears a 36 suit jacket. Tim wore a 44. The zipper was replaced on Jerry's jacket. And the theory is that basically Jerry stopped over before bowling. He had went to the pharmacy, got himself a prescription for his wife, went over to Tim's house. An argument ensued. He stabbed him over the fact that he really has nothing. Those stock options are still going to be what they're worth, whatever they were, and he's not going to make rich. He's not going to be rich. And so he stabs him. But in the in the attempt to run away from the scene, he grabs the wrong jacket. He grabs Tim's instead of his. So he has the big jacket, which I love how Ben and the judge forced him to put it on and stand up, looking as ridiculous as possible. I thought that was awesome.
That was awesome.
So basically, Jeff is found not guilty. And then we cut to a scene that I don't know what to say on this one, but Bob Brooks is waiting for Ben. He has hair. He takes a hat off. He's got hair, right? And Conrad's looking around suspicious. He's like, "You're missing something." And oh my gosh, even though she didn't in previous episodes, she hasn't been around, but she made up for it in this one. And I'm talking about Michelle Thomas. She said that he's missing that masculine manliness,
the
with his
sexiness,
the sexiness of it all. And then Bob's like, okay. And he takes the hat off, takes the wig off, gives it to Ben and says, forget about the 50. And that's the end of our episode, The Formula.
Yes.
All right. Anything else, Jason, real quick?
Yeah, ready to get into my final thoughts.
All right, then let's get on into our closing statements.
This is a part of the podcast where we will rate this show on a gavel system. 1 gavel means we did not like it. 5 gavels means we absolutely loved it. Negative 57 gavels means John is shaving his head, turning it into a wig, giving it to me, and we are moving to Florida to live as each other. John, how do you rate this episode?
I'm still laughing over the fact that I'm going to shave my head now, and then you're going to glue it on your head. Anyways.
No, I'm going to make it a toupee first and then put it on my head, and then you're going to live as Jason and I'm going to live as John.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It wasn't that complicated, John.
Sorry. I'm still like upset with myself from earlier in the episode. So all right.
I watched this episode twice and I'm going to go first. Okay. I loved it. It gave me everything I wanted. We got some bald shenanigans. I'm a sucker for baldness jokes, and actually made a joke about being bald at the wedding yesterday. It was really fun. But I would give this episode 4.5. It was Angry Ben, comedy at the end, tight plot. I was in. My girlfriend even really liked it, so that definitely shows something.
Okay. All right. Okay. I gave it 3 stars, or excuse me, 3 gavels.
Jeez, what show are you on, John? First we don't testify, now you're giving away stars. Like, you need a nap, my friend.
I do. This has been a rough episode. The truth be told, it all started with me telling on you, and now it's just gone right down the toilet.
You need a pudding cup or something to get your blood sugar back up.
I guess I bought some pudding cups yesterday. I had a coupon for 50 cents off. So
nice. I'm not that age yet where I'm coupon clipping yet, but I'm feeling I'm getting there. I'm already sorting my pills, so I'll be coupon clipping too soon.
When that came out of my mouth, I just knew it was ridiculous. I don't even know. Anyways, all right, let's get going. Three gavels is what I give it. I liked Angry Ben. I liked that there. I was afraid that there was going to be like nonstop ball jokes, so I'm glad that there was only a couple. I like that. I felt that the character of Jeff was a little bit annoying. I didn't really dig the portrayal, the actor portraying it the way he did. I also put down that for somebody that was the killer, he was hardly in the episode, and that was Jerry Hughes. So I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I gave it a 3. So there you go, right in the middle.
Technically, right in the middle would be a 2.5.
Well, okay, I'm a little bit above in the middle. How about that?
There you go.
I too, by the way, watched it as well for a second time because it's been a couple of weeks since we've, watched. So,
yeah, this episode was definitely a positive on this rocky season that we've had so far. But yeah, John, can't wait till next week.
Well, next time we do this, we have ourselves a 2-parter, which we're going to treat as 1 episode. So, with that, let's talk about our other podcasts. Jason, what's going on with Read Eats podcast?
We will be reviewing the Matlock premiere with Kathy Bates. Even though it's not a reboot, we feel like we should cover the first episode somewhere around the 30th. We'll have that coming to you guys. But Three Geeks Podcast, we are not live next week. Kind of live. If you live in the Monroe area or you're down to travel, you can come hang out with us because we'll be doing our show live there. And there'll be a costume contest. I get to meet some people that were in horror movies. It's Friday the 13th.
You buried the lead.
Is going to be there. And I just watched a movie with Clint Howard called The Dentist 2, and I am now more afraid of dentists than I was of creepy children. So congratulations, The Dentist 1 and Dentist 2.
You buried the lead. You didn't tell folks where we're going to be.
I said Monroe, Michigan.
Yeah, it's Monroe Comic-Con, though.
Monroe Comic-Con.
We're not just heading up to Monroe, Michigan to hang out, but
and they keep adding people to their roster. So, I mean, who knows? They might add some more this week. They just added a wrestler who I guess is a big deal.
Hey, you want me here? I'll tell you right now. I'll run down the featured guests that we have here coming up this weekend, which I will be there too. You mentioned Tom Morga, who was, of course, an actor that has played Michael Myers, Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, Clint Howard, Joe Rubenstein, Linda Young, Cynthia Kratz, Melanie Kinnaman, Mickey James from the world of professional wrestling, Elijah, another former WWE star, Pete Dante, Katrina Devine, James O'Barr, Jordan Fight, Bill Morrison, Arvell Jones, Darren McCarty, Steve Morand, who is also known as the Greatest Wrestling Collection, Rick Hoberg, Hannah Fearman, CB Zane, Jim Benton, Jason Moore, Dirk Manning, the Godfather from WWE, Tom Hutchinson, Danny Denete, I believe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Rob Miller, as well as many other folks. So it is in Monroe, Michigan. It is, I'll give you the street address too, in case you're interested. You can go to monroecomiccon.com. It is, of course, 3775 South Custer Road in Monroe, Michigan. Saturday 10 to 6, Friday 5 to 9, this Friday and Saturday. So it's there you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, guys. Come hang out with us. Follow me at 3 Geeks Podcast at 3 Geeks J. We are dropping so many shorts and so many reviews. Everybody seems to be liking it. I love getting comments on the videos, so please keep it up. I'm really, man, our interaction with people on TikTok, especially, and YouTube has gone up exponentially, which has been fantastic. I'd rather have you guys engaged with me than get more viewers, but it's been great. So keep it up. Thank you.
And as for
Subscribe.
the people, huh?
I said subscribe.
Oh, there you go.
We're
And as
trying to
for me,
get
and the people,
1,000 by Thursday, so we got
Thursday.
196 more to go.
Okay. Well, as for me and the PVD cast, which is my own personal podcasting project, right now, speaking of big events that are happening this upcoming weekend, I am sitting down on the newest episode with Alan Levine. He's got a sweet nickname. He's called the Talking Machine. But nonetheless, he is a promoter of the newest MMA organization in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania called Coliseum Combat Zone. They're having their debut event this Saturday as well. At the All-American Fieldhouse, which is in Monroeville, PA, which is a eastern suburb of Pittsburgh. Definitely check out ColiseumCombatZone.com for more information such as tickets, directions, fight card, etc., etc. But he and I talk all about the event. We also talk about his TV show, Pittsburgh Sports Line, and a few other personal stories as well. So definitely check it out. That is, of course, over at pvdcast.com or wherever you find great podcasts.
And I forgot to mention, Justin and I will be dropping a review of Beetlejuice, either tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on when Justin goes to see it.
All right. Well, Jason, with that, anything else?
No, man. Let's get up out of here.
All right. And as they say in court, nothing further.